Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday. My name is Caren Kibbett. I do hope that you're having an amazing evening. This day, on this Friday, we have a lot lined up for you, from sports to business and everything political. And my colleague John Cargo is not here with me. He's a little bit under the weather. Otherwise, he would have been here with me. So sit back, relax, and dive into the stories that matter right here on Easy Friday. But first, let's take the highlights of the day. Hunting down DP Gachagua's key allies, including his private secretary and 2 MPs for prosecution over Gen Z protests. Transition from NHIF to the Social Health Insurance Fund faces uncertainty even as government falls back on chiefs to boost registration.
We are going to be knocking out agencies that are rogue. We're going to be charging agencies that are rogue so that nobody is conned.
Plans underway to introduce a rating system for job placement agencies to protect job seekers. Welcome to Easy Friday. Our sign languager tonight is Byron Abuli. Now, sleuths at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, are hunting down Embakasi Central MP Benjamin Gathiru, alias Major Ndong, and his Embakasi North counterpart, James Gachagua, who are alleged to be masterminds of the youth-led protests that ended in the invasion of Parliament. This is after the Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, approved charges leveled against the 2 MPs alongside ex-Embakasi West lawmaker George Theuri, former Nyeri Town MP Ngunjiri Wambugu, as well as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's private secretary Pius Munene. And Abdi Aziz Hashim reports Theuri, Ngunjiri and Munene have secured temporary orders blocking their arrest, detention and prosecution.
2 months after they were grilled at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters, Embakasi Central Member of Parliament Benjamin Gathiru alias Major Ndong and his Embakasi North counterpart James Gachagua are once again being hunted down by sleuths.
We have a job to do, and we are not going to relent. I know there are people who want to politicize that exercise. We will be extremely firm and neutral. And I am informed by DCI that high-level prosecutions will ensue any time from now, of including political leaders who financed, and we have evidence they financed people.
The legislators and 3 other leaders are alleged to have played a key role in planning, mobilizing and financing the youth-led anti-government protest in June. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, approved the charges leveled against the 2 legislators alongside ex-Embakasi West lawmaker George Theuri, former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Ngunjiri Wambugu, and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's private secretary Pius Munene.
It doesn't make sense to harass Gachagua and Major Ndong for no reason because of politics. Arresting them, confiscating their phones, intimidating them. Those things imepitwa na wakati.
The 5 will be charged with conspiracy to commit felony, soliciting or inciting others to commit an offense, and money laundering. The three politicians had moved to court claiming that on September 26 this year, they were made aware of a plan between the respondents to arrest and prosecute them over what they termed as trumped-up charges. They hence argued that their intended arrest and prosecution will abuse the court process.
I am making my decision.
High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi issued the orders against the DCI and DPP and further directed the petitioners to file and serve the respondents in the case within 7 days. Abdiaziz Hashim for Easy Friday.
Moving on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged Kenyans to remain calm amid the ongoing political turmoil in the country. During a visit to coffee factories in Kithunguri, Kiambu County, he expressed confidence in the public's ability to make informed decisions. This call for composure comes as Gachagua faces mounting pressure amid a plot by a section of legislators to gather signatures to impeach him. The DP said he will remain committed to ensure coffee reports calling on legislators to fast-track debate on the coffee bill.
Ndio sasa tunaambia rais, tafadhali, hata kama hauna heshima na naibu wako, patia watu wa mlima heshima. Umeona watu wamezunguka wakichukua signature, wakati Gathoni wa Mushomba ako hapa anaongea mambo ya kahawa, wengine wanaenda kuweka signature. Badala wao wote pia wakuje tushikane, tusaidie watu wetu.
Nyinyi ndio mlichagua Rigathi wa Gachagua ama sio nyinyi? Wakati Rigathi atakuwa mmechokesha nyinyi, ni nyinyi mtamtoa kazi ama ni wetu wengine? Iko watu wengine mmetuma waende wakafukuza Rigathi wa Gachagua kwa kazini. Nyinyi ndio mlichagua William Ruto ama sio nyinyi? Nyinyi ndio mlichagua bunge ama sio nyinyi? Kwa hivyo kila mtu apatiwe nafasi yake, aendeleze na kazi yake na tutakuwa sawa sawa.
Na sababu yenye deputy president unapigwa ni kwa sababu ya kusimama na hawa wananchi. Hiyo ndio kitu yenye inafanya hawa watu wengi wanakuwa na vita na wewe, kwa sababu wengi walichaguliwa na wakaondokea hawa wananchi. Lakini wewe umesimama na watu wetu. Nimeona kwa reforms ya kahawa, kwa mambo ya majani chai, mambo ya maziwa.
I ask our members of parliament to fast track a passing of the Coffee Bill 2023, the Cooperative Bill 2023 into law. President aweke kidole ndio tusukume. Kwa sababu tukiweka sheria hata kama wengine hawataki lazima ifanyike. Na wale walikuwa wanasema ati Deputy President hajafanya kazi ya kahawa. Sasa kama imetoka shilingi 11 imefika 87, amefanya hajafanya? Sasa wengine wanaongea mambo ya kahawa na hawajui hata kahawa inalimwa wapi.
Moving on, the uncertainty surrounding the rollout of the Social Health Insurance Fund continues to thicken, even as the government races against time to register more Kenyans. It has, however, emerged that a section of Kenyans are yet to understand why they need to register afresh, yet their details are with the repealed National Health Insurance Fund. While others are in support of the scheme that takes effect in 3 days, the packages therein, some of the opinion NHIF could have been made better.
As at Wednesday this week, only 1.6 million Kenyans had registered to the Social Health Authority. This far, how many Kenyans are aware of SHIF?
Hiyo mambo sielewi kamwe. Sasa inastahili tukuje tufundishwe hiyo mambo.
Kwa sababu walikuwa wamepeana hata wanasema inaanza Oktoba au whatever. Ndio sababu inabidi tu mtu register, lakini hatuelewi.
Kuna vitu nyingi bado hatujaelezwa. Ningesuggest watu educate more.
Watuelezee wazi hii mambo ya SHA na hii NHIF, hatuchaelewa watu wengi kwa sababu akaunti zetu bado sina pesa na tuko kwa NHIF na hasa hizi hatupati matibabu.
SHIF hatuelewi. Kwa hivyo tukuje tufundishwe ili tuelewe, alafu tufanye vile itatakikana.
Hii mambo hatuelewi mzuri. Inatakana hii sasa hata kama ni serikali hata kama ni upande wetu ya raia ifuatiliwe mzuri.
We have evidence that we used local languages because where I went I spoke in my local language and in other places I spoke in Kiswahili.
Part of the strategy employed by the government to raise the numbers is tasking its administration officers in the counties to aid in civic education to boost registration. Some Kenyans, however, took issue with doing away with the National Health Insurance Fund instead of making it better.
better ile kenye unajua kuliko kenye ujui. But according to me, NHIF imekuwa ikinisaidia.
If the details that I have in HIF, my IDs, it doesn't change, then I don't know why there needs to be a second registration. Why can they transfer my details there?
Sioni kama nitajiregister katika masuala hayo. Mimi nafadhali basi ni kama nitaumwa, Mungu mwenyewe nitadili na Mungu wangu, kile kiwango nitakachokipata nitajihudumia.
Earlier today, a chief online meeting for health workers was suspended after a section of Kenyans who had acquired the login details infiltrated the forum, chanting anti-chief slogans.
We have some
and a meeting called by the Ministry of Health Friday to provide an update and address controversy surrounding the role of the 3 key firms in the scheme also failed to materialize. Key speakers at the briefing were supposed to be representatives from Safaricom, a payroll and convergence network solutions. This could have set the record straight on the development of the healthcare information system. The government, however, maintains SHIF is a better deal.
Kama SHA inaweza shughulikia yule mtu wa pale chini ambaye ni mnyonge, mama mboga na mtu ya bodaboda aweze kusaidika, akigonjeka aweze kupelekwa ng'ambo, ingekuwa ni bora zaidi.
Under SHIF, oral health services will be limited at 2,000 shillings per household. This package will, however, be rolled out in 2 years based on maturity of the fund. It has an optical cover of 1,000 shillings per household. For normal delivery and essential newborn care, the government will pay 10,000 shillings and 30,000 shillings for cesarean section. The benefits package further stipulates accident and emergency victims will be stabilized for 24 hours without any payment, whether registered or not. After the 24 hours, the SHIF benefits will be activated for paid-up members. Kenyans have continued to express diverse views concerning the shift from NHIF to the Social Health Authority. And with only 3 days to go, the question remains, will the government attain the 12 million registration mark by Tuesday? Nancy Okware reporting for Easy Friday, Nairobi.
Nancy Okware for that detailed report. Moving on, the High Court has ordered the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to produce a substantive report on missing Dela Ward Member of County Assembly Yusuf Hussein on the 4th of October 2024. Justice Alexander Muteti said human rights issues should not be taken lightly and ordered the police to fast-track the process using all their available machinery. Yusuf Hussein was abducted on the 13th of September along Enterprise Road in Nairobi while aboard a taxi. Details of this and other stories in the Scales of Justice segment.
Hussein's family told trial judge Alexander Muteti that they have been in agony for the past 2 weeks since the MCA was kidnapped.
The evidence I shall give before this court concerning or touching the matter in question.
However, when he talked to the witness stand to explain the state of the investigations, Nairobi Region DCI Deputy Commander Justice Imana distanced his officers from the allegations.
And also upon viewing the CCTV footage at Lai Estate, they were able... They confirmed the occurrence of it? They confirmed that actually the client was abducted, was picked at a Lai Estate, as per the report by the taxi driver.
The court was further informed that cyber forensic experts are analyzing the CCTV footage of the incident. The court has directed the DPP and the DCI to ensure maximum protection to the taxi driver who is the key witness.
For the respondents to provide an updated report as to the status of the investigations. Secondly, the respondents are to file and serve their reply within 7 days from today.
In Nakuru, the witnesses in the 1.1 billion shilling Finland and Canada education candles case have been warned against discussing the ongoing case. While issuing the order, Senior Resident Magistrate Peter Ndungu warned a witness Masita Rose, who had discussed the merits and demerits of the case on both mainstream and social media, that they would suffer consequences not limited to jail terms.
The apologies from the subject hearing, and the subject is Mercy, are accepted, but with the serious warning that I've already given hearing.
The case will be mentioned on October 16th with hearings set for 4 days from December 2nd. Elsewhere, Laikipia County residents have been encouraged to take advantage of small claims courts. Speaking during the Environment and Land Court Open Day, Lady Justice Kosibor said small claims court are underutilized.
Unatembea, unajaribu kuchunga afya, alafu kuna gari inakupita na inatoa moshi. Najiuliza, hii Kenya yetu watu wakuwa wanashikwa. Kuna watu wa kushika, shikeni hao. Watu wanafaa kufanya regular maintenance ya gari zao ndio kukuwe na efficient engine system yenye itapunguza pollution na pia itasave pesa.
The Environment and Land Court Open Day was commemorated under the theme Environment Protection. Ruth Wamboi for Easy Friday.
Thank you, Ruth, for that report. The Cabinet Secretary of Labour and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua, said the government is set to introduce a rating system for employment agencies as part of efforts to maintain accountability and protect job seekers. Speaking at an expo in Nairobi County during the official opening of the Kenya-German Labour Migration Conference and Job Fair, Dr. Mutua emphasized the need for integrity in the industry, even as he cautioned employment agencies against illegal practices.
The Labour Cabinet Secretary Friday morning interacted with exhibitors and attendants at the official opening of the Kenya-German Labour Migration Conference and Job Fair. It is here that Dr. Alfred Mutua revealed the government is set to introduce a rating system for employment agencies to ensure accountability and protect Kenyan job seekers. He further announced plans to rate employers as a means to weeding out fraudulent job recruiting agencies, fleecing those seeking jobs abroad.
We are going to encourage agencies that are big enough to be able to recruit without charging anybody. So we're going to have a discussion, and I've started a discussion with German companies that have reached out to me and to us to align that.
The reason why they are being exploited is because they lack information. And therefore, German companies have been invited to come and appraise these young Kenyans concerning these job opportunities and how they can go about accessing these jobs.
Dr. Mutua also cautioned Kenyans living illegally in Germany to return home and regularize their stay, warning the government will not tolerate illegal practices.
We are going to be knocking out agencies that are rogue. We're going to be charging agencies that are rogue so that nobody is conned. But from my assessment, when I look at the agencies that we have, close to nearly 600, the rogue ones are less than 10.
The holding room will be guided by Mike.
The German ambassador to Kenya, Sebastian Groth, affirmed that Germany has no intention of depleting Kenya's vital human resource.
We won't be a country that is looking for prosperity and economic growth without this skilled labor migration. I think everybody has to understand this.
They pledge to continue strengthening agreements to provide a framework for cooperation on labor mobility and apprenticeship programs. The conference and job fair is aimed at creating awareness on legal migration processes and employment opportunities in Germany.
So mine is only to urge the two countries to make sure that the people we are taking are the real skilled workers, and two, there should be no shortcuts in terms of following the law from Kenya to Germany.
This comes after Kenya signed a bilateral labor agreement with Germany.
First Lady Rachel Ruto has rallied her fellow First Ladies in Africa to fast-track gender equity in their countries to ensure that girls and women are given equal opportunities for education and empowerment. The First Lady was recognized by the Organization of the Africa First Ladies for Development for her efforts in gender equity, economic empowerment of women through table banking, and her leading role in championing the We Are Equal campaign. The campaign was launched in 2023 and brought together First Ladies from Africa around 4 common themes: health, education, women's economic empowerment, and gender-based violence. She was speaking in New York during the closure of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development meeting on the sidelines of UNGA 79.
#WeAreEqualInAction is a collective pledge to close the gender gap across our continent. To achieve this, we have adopted a partner-led approach, which includes the establishment of 4 working groups aligned with the 4 pillars of the #WeAreEqual campaign. These pillars are health, education, economic empowerment, and gender-based violence.
And that report brings us to our first break on Easy Friday. Don't go too far. I'll be back with more.
Avieta imerahisishwa. Sasa kuna njia mpya na rahisi ya kucheza Avieta. Dial *419# kwenye simu yako na ucheze wakati wowote.
ASK Nairobi Trade Fair 2024 brings agriculture and technology close to you. And as KBC, we are on the forefront as we give you a historical journey of the broadcast industry and showcasing the strides made in the transformative digital media. Visit our stand on Ethiopia Road off Moi Lane for an experience like no other. KBC, the national broadcaster.
I need to see the manager.
I'm the manager.
Do you know who I am?
Christopher Likopi.
So you chose to work with Ronald. Probably some things can be bought after all.
At this point, it's about what's right and wrong.
How much is Kaikara paying you?
Did I just hear my father's name?
Meaning attitude. I'm not pleased with the decision that you made without consulting me.
What decision? Lucky. She's after my blood. That one.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. Now, on to some other news. The government has dismissed claims of plans to privatize the Kenya Cooperative Creameries. This was announced by Cooperatives and MSMEs Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya, who toured the plan in Eldoret. Separately, Immigration PS Julius Bitok says plans are underway to rebrand and relocate the Immigration Office at Nyayo as part of efforts to shed off the perception of graft associated with the office.
Friday was a busy day for senior government officials who spent the day at various events. Cooperative and MSMEs CS Wycliffe Oparanya was at the Kenya Cooperative Creameries plant in Eldoret, where he downplayed claims of a plan to privatize the facility. He instead pledged to support dairy farmers through provision of credit services.
This company is not going to be privatized. There is discussion towards that direction. But I can tell you that is up to the government to make a decision. Farmers met me yesterday, we discussed about it, but it's not in the near future. Otherwise, it will scare farmers for nothing.
Elsewhere, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Ogamba was the chief guest at the first graduation ceremony of over 900 graduates at Masai Mara Technical Vocational Education and Training Institute. Ogamba hailed TVETs for churning out job creators.
We are also working to progressively bridge the gap and to achieve the ideal trainer-to-trainee ratio. Similarly, the government has made significant investments in the digitization of education through the Jitume program.
Okay, quiet. And Principal Secretary for Immigration, Ambassador Paul Bitok, says that the government is on course to radically transform the image of the Immigration Office. He was speaking in Kabarnet, Baringo County during the graduation of 286 newly recruited immigration officers.
I want us to leave their house alone with its own issues, bad name and bad things. We get a new address so that we get a new name. Because that way, we can only get a new name. Isn't it?
Picho Chemtai for Easy Friday.
Thank you, Picho, for that report. Moving on, the government has ordered the recall of Flamodip amlodipine 5 mg tablets batch number FLD303 from the shelves owing to what it says is a labeling error. In a statement, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board says the secondary packaging of the product manufactured by Medical Remedies PVT Limited is labeled as Flamodip 5 amlodipine, whereas the primary packaging is labeled as Flamnopri 5 enlapril. In the meantime, cautioned all pharmaceutical outlets, healthcare facilities, as well as professionals to stop further distribution, sale, issuing or use of the product batch and return the product to the nearest healthcare facility or respective suppliers as a safety measure. In Quisera constituency, Kakamega County, the Abasamia clan of the Abaluya community upholds a sacred tradition deeply intertwined with respect, family, hierarchy, and culture. This ancient custom revolves around a specific part of the chicken known as imondo, the gizzard, which carries profound meaning and significance. Our reporter Jackie Wambiru gives a glimpse of how the Abasamia people honor the imondo custom.
Quisero, Kakamega County, the Abasamia clan of the Abaluya community continues to uphold a centuries-old tradition centered around a seemingly humble piece of chicken, the imondo or gizzard. This sacred part of the bird is reserved exclusively for the man of the house, symbolizing his role as the head of the family and the bearer of responsibility. As per custom, if a woman were to consume this cherished piece, she would have broken a vital cultural rule.
Huyo mama hakuwa naishi miaka. Akitoka hapo naenda kugonjeka mara moja nakufa. Naeka anakula, hiyo sio haki yake.
Zamani za kale wanawake walikuwa wakuli kuku. Ni kwa nini? Ile kuku ile mtungi wazee walikuwa wanapikia chakula ingine ilikuwa inaitwa simbewa. Hii panya hii. Wazee walikuwa wanakula zamani. Sasa ile walikuwa waruhusiwi wakule kuku. Wanawake zamani walikuwa wakuli kuku. Kuku walianza kukula sababu ya kikanisa. Watu wa kanisa saa ile wanakuja, wanasema hapa tumekuja ugeni na wanawake. Hii kuku leo watakula.
Such an act requires a cleansing ritual with herbs, a reflection of the deep respect embedded in this age-old practice. The significance of imondo goes beyond its taste. It is a tangible symbol of hierarchy within the family. In the absence of the man, this honor is passed to the firstborn son, or in some cases to the man's brother. To share or consume the gizzard without permission is considered an affront to the family structure, believed to bring discord and unresolved conflicts.
Na imondo unakula tu hiyo vitu viwili kama baba ya boma. Unakula tu peke yako. Nilikuwa nasema italeta kisirani kwa boma. Na ndio tulikuwa naona mtu akula ananyang'anya na kama ananyang'anya baba. Sasa naye atasema okay, wewe fanya vile unataka. Na iweze maliza mwezi kabla hujalala chini. Unaanza tu kama malaria kama nini.
Women within the community have termed this an exclusionary rule. The gizzard is considered one of the most desirable parts of the chicken, yet it remains out of reach. Despite these frustrations, cultural norms have largely remained unchanged.
Kuwa na kuku ilikuwa inauliwa kwa mahali ingine tulikuwa tunaita ulusambu. Na hiyo lisambo ilikuwa inawekwanga hapa katikati ya boma. Sasa kuku ilikuwa inauliwa pale kwa wazee kukula, na mwanamke halikuwi hawezi kuruhusu akule hiyo imondo. Kuku ilikuwa inafanywa umuluha, kuku ndiyo ilikuwa inafanywa mambo yote. Sasa wanawake walikuwa hawaruhusu kukula hiyo imondo ndani na hiyo ishasundi, na hata kuku yenyewe.
Chicken are not sacrificed arbitrarily in this community. As explained by Wetende, they are only slaughtered during major family ceremonies known as emeluha, where men perform important rites. The separation of roles is clear. Women are prohibited from participating in these rituals, reinforcing the long-standing gender dynamics within the Abasamia culture.
Alikuwa nakataa tuweze kula kuku nini ya kuku kama yeye bado angali mzima, na akakataa kabisa mpaka siku ile alikufa, ndio kijana mkubwa alianza kula hiyo kasundi.
For families like that of Francis Eshiwani, the observance of this tradition is unwavering. He recalls his father's strict adherence to the custom, allowing no one but himself to eat the imondo while he was alive.
Hao wazee wa zamani ndio wanajua pale walitoa hiyo sheria. Si kuuliza.
Today, as the eldest son, Francis carries the torch, ensuring that the family's structure remains intact. If a woman consumes the imondo, it is viewed as a challenge to the man's authority, an act that disrupts the very foundation of the family. However, in modern days, the imondo, once a reserve of men, is now being sold freely in markets, with women too getting a taste of this delicacy. Jackie Wambiru, My Culture.
Thank you, Wambiru, for that beautiful report. Now, the Parliamentary Committee on Communication, Innovation and Information has endorsed the entry of US-based Starlink company into Kenya's internet market, and parents in Trans Nzoia County want the Ministry of Education to allow their children to resume learning after missing school following the recent student strike in some schools in the area. Tilio Marco has this and more in our county news roundup.
The Committee on Communication, Innovation and Information has backed Starlink company's entry to the country's internet market. The committee has stressed the need to vet the company to ensure laws on consumer rights and data protection are adhered to. Meanwhile, parents in Trans Nzoia County are calling on the Ministry of Education to allow their children go back to school after the disruptions occasioned by student strikes in some schools in the area.
Issue yetu kubwa hapa si kama Gachagua na Manjalala. Shule hii hata Mheshimiwa Governor George Natembea alikuwa katika Harambee hapa na Manjala Primary. Shule hii shida si principal. Shule hii shida si wanafunzi. Shule hii pia shule hii shida si pia chakula. Shida kubwa katika shule hii, management ya shule ni mbovu.
Some residents of Hospital Ward in the outskirts of Kitale town in Trans Nzoia County have declared the poor state of roads in the area in the wake of rains.
Tumeteseka kwa hii barabara ya Ragira kwenda Kibomet Primary paka Makunga. Tunaumia kwa hii barabara. Tukibeba watu tunawaangusha hapa. Hata ukiangalia upande hii ya mbele kuna magari zimegwama.
In Marsabit County, health workers have protested against the delay of their salaries by the county government and lack of promotions. Kenya Clinical Officers Marsabit Branch Secretary General Abdi Shukri says the situation has impoverished them.
It has caused significant hardship, with many struggling to afford transport to work, facing evictions and grappling with financial difficulties that severely hinder their capacity to provide essential healthcare services.
Tea farmers from Michi Mikuru Tea Factory in Tigania, East Meru County have rejected the tea bonus payment of 36 shillings per kilogram, terming it too little.
Tumefanya mkutano mzuri sana. Wakulima wameita directors na company secretary wameweka viti pale na hawakukuja.
In a related development, farmers in Nyandarua County have faulted the proposed laws on controlling horticultural activities, terming them punitive.
Na hizo sheria zote ni za kukadamisha mkulima. Ukiangalia vile kama hizi mazao unaona hapa nyuma imekauka, alafu aanze kudai mkulima atoe shilingi 10,000, alafu shilingi 5,000 zingine za ukaguzi wa mchanga, hiyo hatuwezi.
And on crime, Residents of Navagolo in Kakamega County were left in shock following the discovery of a decomposing body behind a house.
Nilimpata babangu mkuu amefunjwa na hata ulimi ndani ya mtoma huko wamekata na amesumbukana, amekufa kifo ya mwanaume.
Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
Thank you for watching Easy Friday. We now take a short break, and when we return, my colleague Betty Kiptum will keep you up to speed with the latest in the world of business. Let's take that short break, and we will be right back.
Pata the master flare kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
A very good evening to you. Thank you for watching Easy Friday on KBC Channel 1. Time for business news. My name is Betty Kiptum. Financial institutions should increase support for women-led startups in the cyberspace as a way of boosting the ICT skill set in Kenya. A cyber school advisory member, that is Catherine Gachagua, says there is need to create a special fund that will mainly focus on women-led startups in the cyberspace.
Kenya was ranked the highest receiver of tech funds in the African continent last year after receiving 103 billion shillings. The ICT players say most of the funding for tech startups have over the years been awarded to men-led tech firms. A cyber school wants this changed by having financial institutions and private equities deliberately funding women-owned startups in the cyberspace.
The cost of a laptop can be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of shillings. Sometimes you also need to acquire software and other technology to help you to run your cybersecurity business, and you also need to buy skills, which can be quite expensive.
Have the most funding are actually led by men. I've seen many women who really are there in the space, but in terms of success, I still see the males sort of dominating them.
Gitau says most women-led ICT startups offer comprehensive societal solutions, including those that target cybercrime.
Women understand the many groups who are vulnerable to some of these issues, such as children, such as the elderly. Women are often the main caregivers for these groups.
She is also challenging women to embrace STEM courses and deliberate support for ICT training of women in tertiary institutions.
Cybersecurity education is not cheap, for example. So many people, or maybe their parents or guardians, are not readily able to afford some of the courses and certifications.
You find that there's women who are actually shying away from the technology ecosystem because they feel like it might be male-dominated or it might be too technical.
Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, power rebates, subsidies for manufacturers and a predictable tax policy are among proposals the private sector wants the government to look into. This emerged during a public participation exercise on legislation and policy reforms held in Nairobi. Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary, that is Salim Vuria, says the Secretariat has 14 days to table a report that will be presented to Cabinet as government undertakes reforms to improve consumer protection. Investments, trade and manufacturing, that is, let's listen into that story.
The contribution of manufacturing to the gross domestic product has declined from 15% to 7.6% due to a myriad of challenges, including high energy costs.
The cost of energy, the cost of taxation, and one of our biggest things that we're looking at is the cost of transparency and integrity. Earlier we talked about, I think Ahmed, you mentioned a little bit about, business integrity and Transparency International and all that. We really want Kenya to be the thriving country in the region.
The solution that would work 5 years ago will not work today. It may not work next year, and that is why this process of continuous engagement then becomes extremely important.
The private sector is keen on, among others, energy taxes and subsidies for manufacturers, optimization of geothermal to reduce energy costs, and conclusion and implementation of the national tax policy.
The unpredictability of the tax regime, the conflicting or unaligned levies and taxes that we bear between the county government and the national government. And we also appreciate your commitment to help us with other ministries that affect the business of trade.
With the culmination of the public engagement today, focus now shifts on how the recommendations from the various stakeholders will be incorporated and implemented.
We are looking forward to come up with an action plan based on what you have raised and an implementation matrix that will guide our policy and legislative intervention.
And I've also committed to institute a quarterly meeting with the stakeholders to continuously review our progress, but more importantly now identify opportunities that can enhance business in our country.
Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
Kenya has unveiled 9 regional tourism circuits in new efforts aimed at expanding the country's tourism offerings and experiences for both domestic and international travel. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the new circuits are designed to promote lesser-known attractions and diversify Kenya's tourism experiences, aligning with evolving market demands and conservation goals.
While leading the national celebrations of this year's edition of the World Tourism Day in Kisumu, the Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano said an elaborate targeted marketing campaign will be rolled out to showcase the unique features offered by each of the 9 new tourism circuits.
We do recognize the importance of working closely with counties, with the private sector, and also with communities to build capacity and help identify and develop Kenya's unique tourism assets.
This year's World Tourism Day was celebrated under the theme Tourism and Peace, where Kenyans were challenged to embrace peaceful coexistence if Kenya has to realize the targeted tourism growth.
Tourism is way more than a commercial enterprise. It is a bridge builder and a unifier. It is an eye-opener, a barrier breaker. It is a spark plug for fostering mutual respect and promoting peace.
Kisumu, as you all know, has a rich cultural heritage, stunning landscapes, amazing scenery, and breathtaking tourist attractions due to its location at the heart of the Western Kenya tourism circuit.
And we know with the proper sustainable tourism, communities can be transformed because tourism helps to create jobs, helps to foster inclusion, and more so, it helps to strengthen local economies.
Mimi nimeona Kisumu inaweza kuwa ni moja ya ile counties ambayo wanaweza pata tourism revenue tukiweza kufanya kazi pamoja.
In Mombasa, officials are advocating for the adoption of an open skies policy to boost tourism numbers by allowing in more airlines.
If those airlines that have shown interest
that have already put in their stake that they wish to be able to land in Mombasa, but because of bureaucratic challenges of not allowing them to be able to land in Mombasa, we are missing an opportunity of 300 cities plus converging within Mombasa. Those numbers are going to be extremely large numbers.
For Easy Friday, I am Wycliffe Okage.
Still on tourism matters, family, group travel and gaming services are gaining traction among domestic travelers as local recreational facilities scramble for a piece of the market share. As Kenya marks the UN World Tourism Day 2024, Regina Manyara highlights emerging trends dominating the domestic tourism value chain.
It's midweek and Kenyans are finding time to enjoy some peace, fun and laughter at recreational facilities. This observation corresponds with the latest official data showing that tourism earnings were at 142.5 billion shillings during the first 6 months of this year, with the domestic tourism accounting for 2.25 million bed nights. Even though tourism numbers have been rising, it has been an uphill task for hospitality facilities post-COVID.
Afro is Africa, Sayari is planet in Swahili. So we wanted to cap the market for Africa, which we had to almost shut down for a period of almost 6 months, which was not easy, letting go of employees who are not even able to cater for their needs. But with thank God we came back.
Alice believes the domestic tourism market is largely underexploited.
Now families are willing to go out, spend some time together with the family in an outing setup, enjoy their meals together and have a good time.
Family travel packages have gained traction.
Or even just have your book under a tree and enjoy the ambience and the nature of the place.
As adults engage in banter, having activities to keep the children busy is an added advantage.
Where they can come leave their kids there, taken care of by our minders as well. So that has really helped us, especially during the weekdays, to be able to cap the markets and also increase our revenues.
The onset of CBC has also created a need for some skills such as swimming.
We've had groups coming all the way from Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa as well to come and enjoy the facility here, which has really helped us in terms of increasing our revenues. And we also urge other businesses to venture into the online platform, which can really be of help.
Alice says innovation and changing with the time is key to attract today's dynamic traveler.
I will suggest a few points. One being they increase the marketing platform. Also, they need to diversify their portfolio in terms of culture, wellness. The other thing they'll do is support the domestic hospitality industries. That way we are able to meet these standards that the international tourists are looking for.
Hotel industry players want the government to consider a few incentives, including tax incentives, to grow this particular niche sector that has already proven its resilience, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Thank you, Regina, for that report. Remember that parks will be free for all Kenyans tomorrow. That is national parks. You might want to take yourself and your family to enjoy Kenyan parks. Now, Kenyans are being encouraged to embrace solar solutions as a backup option or key supply for those living in remote areas that are not connected to the national grid. StarTime's Director of Solar, Sam Deng, says adoption of solar power not only reduces energy costs, but also contributes to sustainability efforts, reducing the carbon footprint in Kenya.
We are looking forward that through this partnership, once they are able to install the solar product, there is an element of saving in terms of cost. Studies have shown, and I stand to be corrected, that with embracing solar, you'll find the household can be able to reduce their energy cost close to around 70 to 75%.
In green energy, compare this market also in the future. This is in the future. We are likely Kenya develop quickly compare other African countries.
It is in line with the Caren call, the global call for everyone to go green in order for us to conserve the environment. It is also a call by our president. So we are in line with what the president is calling us to do, to go green. So we are going to empower members.
The National Construction Summit, the International Construction Summit has been ongoing in Mombasa, and a number of issues that have come up in that particular summit include sustainable construction. Remember that construction is quite a contributor in terms of emissions in the country. And now let's just get that story that the 5th International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition came to a close today with calls to embrace sustainable practices. The 3-day meeting agreed to enhance the use of environmentally friendly materials to reduce the greenhouse gases. The National Construction Authority Executive Director, who is Maurice Akech, says there is need to bridge the gender gap in the industry, which is highly dominated by men. O'Brien Kimani attended the conference and gives us the highlights of the meeting.
The construction industry is an important cog in Kenya's socio-economic sector. The industry is valued at more than 2 trillion shillings, with experts saying it will reach the 10 trillion mark by the end of 2035.
Whatever you do, it's good to understand that you need to think about the end and the user in mind, and that means all stakeholders must be brought on board at the beginning so that they are all
Speakers attending the 5th International Construction Research and Conference in Mombasa are calling for the government to work with the private sector to entrench green practices. Already, the government has enacted the National Building Code 2024 that calls for the sector players to embrace new construction technologies that are sustainable. The National Construction Authority Executive Director Maurice Akech says the authority will embark on a national sensitization campaign to enlighten the public on the importance of adhering to the new code.
We are going to onboard the lessons we have learned in the last 3 days and also the resolutions that were already packaged and shared with the stakeholders and the industry, so that in the next one we'll be discussing the implementation on the action points of what we have agreed.
The new regulation also mandates contractors to leave space for broadband infrastructure and green spaces. The meeting has also resolved to encourage the use of smart contracting and artificial intelligence to enhance efficiency.
The National Building Code 2024 implementation strategy and blue economy and maritime structures forms a strategic discussion agenda in this conference.
The ICOS meeting have been held since 2015, with the 6th edition slated for September 2026. The conference is organized by the National Construction Authority and the State Department for Public Works.
The construction industry is one of the biggest emitters of greenhouse gases in the world, accounting for almost 40% of all greenhouse gases emitted every year. Now, there are growing calls to make this industry more environmentally sustainable by embracing green practices. For Channel 1 Business, I'm O'Brien Kimani from the Coast Region.
Killer sign out by O'Brien Kimani there, coming to us from Mombasa. And that is the end of business news this evening. We are keeping it easy. Sports news is coming up with Daniel Wahome. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
Avieta imerahisishwa sasa, kunatia mpya na rahisi ya kucheza Avieta. Dial *419# kwenye simu yako na ucheze wakati wowote.
SK Nairobi Trade Fair 2024 brings agriculture and technology close to you. And as KBC, we are on the forefront as we give you a historical journey of the broadcast industry and showcasing the strides made in the transformative digital media. Visit our stand on Ethiopia Road off Moi Lane for an experience like no other. KBC, the national broadcaster.
Harambee Stars are set to face Cameroon in October before hosting the return leg in Kampala in mid-October. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1 as both teams chase slots for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
My name is Daniel Wahome. Welcome to to Easy Friday Sport. Now, Eritrean Biniam Girmay Hailu, who became the first indigenous African to win a stage in this year's Tour de France, will be the star attraction in the Africa Road Cycling Championship scheduled for the 9th to the 13th of October in Uasin Gishu, Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. More than 20 African countries are expected to take part in the championship, which was launched today by Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen.
Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen stated that his main aim is to ensure that all sports in the country are given equal opportunities to participate in international assignments. The African Road Cycling Championship will start on October 9 with the junior and elite races, following by under-23 and women's races. The junior women one-lap race will cover a total of 11.2 kilometers around Eldoret City, while the junior male under-23 and elite will battle it out in the two-lap race around the same city. The under-23 men and elites will compete in the 33.8 kilometer three-lap race in Eldoret on Saturday, the 12th of October. The under-23 women and elite road races will take place on Saturday too, while the under-23 male and elite races will take place on Sunday, the 13th of October. All the ladies' races will start in Eldoret and end at Iten, while the men will start from Eldoret, traverse through Uasin Gishu before they finish at Iten.
We are going to make sure that we give opportunity to all our sports people in all sectors, not just football and rugby and volleyball and athletics. We're also going to open door for many of our other athletes to participate in this very important event.
We have issues because we have a lot that we must do as a ministry in terms of infrastructure development. But when we brought this event to your office, you said we must have it.
Meanwhile, Karatu Stadium in Gatundu South, Kiambu County, is said to be ready for use in a month's time after stalling for 7 years. CS Kipchumba Murkomen made the assurance when he toured the 2,000 capacity facility today. Karatu Stadium is among several other stalled sporting projects that the government wants to ensure their completion.
The 12 promised and stalled projects, we want to make sure that we complete them and hand them over to their respective management teams.
We are positive that hii barabara kutoka pale ngambo kufika hapa Karatu Shopping Center itakuwa imefunguka in the next few months. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa na proper access ya mahali hapa.
And three-time Olympic champion in the 1,500 meters Faith Kipyegon and world 800-meter champion Mary Moraa ended their season in spectacular fashion at the inaugural Athlos NYC Invitational Meet. Kipyegon was unstoppable in the 1,500-meter race, where she marched victorious as Moraa finished second in the 800 meters.
Kipyegon Welcheji.
Kipyegon extended her 2024 unbeaten run in the 1,500 meters after clocking 4 minutes, 04.79 seconds. The reigning world record holder relegated Ethiopia's Derribe Welcheji and compatriot Susan Ejore Sanders to second and third positions respectively.
Catch the Olympic champion. Faith Kipyegon is Athlos champion.
Olympic 800 meters bronze medalist Mary Mura finished second in the 800 meters behind Ethiopia Tsige Duguma, who clocked 1 minute 57.43 seconds.
Medalist from Paris, Duguma takes the win here at 800.
200 meters Diamond League champion Brittany Brown pulled off an upset victory against reigning Olympic champion Gabby Thomas in the 200 meters event. Africa's fastest woman, Marie-Jose Talou, clinched the 100 meters title after an impressive 10.98 seconds dash. The winners pocketed 7.7 million shillings. Second place finishers walked home with 3.2 million shillings, while second runners-up bagged 1.2 million shillings.
Second performance. And our Athlos 100-meter champion in 10:98.
And Uganda plus Tanzania will go through the qualifiers of the 2025 African Nations Championships despite being automatic qualifiers as co-hosts of the tournament. The CECAFA zone has also been given an additional slot as a result, with the other zones WAFU A, WAFU B, UNAF, UNIFERC and COSAFA having 3 qualifying teams each. The first round of the qualifiers will start from the 25th to the 27th of October next month and the first 2 weeks of November, with the second round taking place in December. A 2025 African Nations Championship will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania from the 1st to the 28th of February next year, with the hosting stadia set to be announced in due course. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, under his Sakaja Foundation, has partnered with the National Super League side Nairobi United with the aim of nurturing talent across the country. Meanwhile, Gor Mahia are looking forward to kick off their title defense with a win in the FKF Premier League when they take on 13th place Mathare United tomorrow.
Nasakaja noted that the partnership with the NSL side will go a long way to benefit them, as they will also get intensive training from high-profile coaches. The Sakaja Foundation also runs the Sakaja Cup tournament, with the second edition set for 1st of October, where outstanding players will be rewarded.
Kuna ile nitafanya, but I want you to fully dedicate yourselves to this, and you will see where we will go to. Mimi, I'm very competitive, unfortunately. And being competitive, I don't like losing. I love winning. And all we do is win, win, win.
0, 4, 7,
Meanwhile, Gor Mahia will be looking forward to go back to their winning ways in the FKF Premier League when they start their title defense against 13th placed Mathare United. Gor Mahia will be out to exert their might after being knocked out in the CAF Champions League by Egyptian sides Al Ahly in the second round. In other matches, Bidco United will host Talanta FC, Sofapaka will take on Bandari, while Shabana FC will host Posta Rangers.
And Talanta FC head coach Jacqueline Juma says the FKF Premier League side wants to build up from the opening league match win over Sofapaka to create a solid start to the 2024-2025 FKF Premier League season. Talanta made history by becoming the first team in the FKFPL to appoint a female coach. Juma, who is an experienced coach, led Talanta to a 1-0 win over Sofapaka 2 weeks ago. Talanta side Mustafa Odur from Shabana FC, Bernard Odhiambo and goalkeeper Gabriel Andika from KCB, Emmanuel Osoro from Zoya Sugar and Eric Otieno from Tusker. Kevin Owino also joined from FK Apollin in Albania. Coach Juma says they have also changed their style of play to suit the quality of the players they have signed. Talanta have a tricky away fixture against Bidco United at the Thika Stadium tomorrow.
Can say that it's doable. Gender should not be a barrier. So again, what matters is the knowledge that you have and of course performance. So I think it's a wake-up call for even the other ladies that they can do it.
Athletics Kenya branch has decried the poor state of training facilities in the region, saying the situation is hampering the performance of athletes. AKMU branch chairman Stephen Jero also urged athletes to come out in large numbers for registration, as this will help the athletics body monitor their performance and progress. Jero also called on corporates to come on board and support talents in Embu County.
Wakimbiaji wote tunataka wakuje Embu kwa sababu hiyo ni amri kutoka kwa World Athletics ili waje wajiandikishe wakubwa kwa wandogo kutoka miaka 14 kwenda miaka yote ya masters. Yule ana kitambulisho abebe birth certificate na ni free, hakuna kulipa. Kwa hivyo ningeomba mashule, watu wote ambao watasikia hii mambo waeneze hii mambo kwa kila mtu apate habari hii tafadhali.
Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur registered a convincing 3-0 win over Karabag in their opening UEFA Europa League match at their stadium. In other matches, Ajax humbled Turkish side Besiktas 4-0, while hosts Roma were held to a 1-1 draw by Spanish side Athletic Bilbao.
2-0 up.
For tonight, more coming your way tomorrow, including updates from Rally Chile, whose second run is coming to a close around 11:30 p.m. But every day we'll be updating you till Monday. Back to Caren Kibbett. My name is Daniel Wahome.
Thank you very much, Wahome, for keeping us up to speed with the latest in the world of sports. And that wraps up tonight's Easy Friday. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Caren Kibbett, and on behalf of the entire team, we appreciate your company. Our sign language interpreter this evening has been Byron Abuli, but do not go anywhere. Up next, DJ Cool Jacks will be back with a disco funk show, spinning some great tunes to kickstart your weekend. But remember, you can interact with us on our social media platform and let us know your thoughts. Stay tuned and have a fantastic night. Good night.
Nilitembea kama nasikia uchungu, nilitembea kama nasikia shida. Saa zingine inapura mpaka macho, hata sikukuwa naona vizuri, na saa zingine inateremuka chini, hata kukula huwezi kula.
Na leo tuko na Mary Auma Mboya. It has been a tough journey, but we're having a good news. This time anafanya surgery.
Ndugu yangu Dr. Moremi wa Safe Alive, mimi nakuombea tu kama ndugu yako, Mungu akuinue, na hii huduma ambayo unahudumia watu wetu, Mungu aipanue zaidi.
Kaya Musha. It is always a good time on Bridge over Congo.
Catch us every Saturday from 10 p.m. till midnight.
Join me, the Rumba Supreme Leader, the Grand Ayatollah Simeon Mfumo Kimbango, and
Winnie Marie Jose, Bridge over Congo.
Mungu esilaka na nzungu te kasielenge Mungu esilaka na
Chumvi huyeyuka chunguni, lakini ladha yake hubakia.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tunajiunga na mkulima bomba ambaye amejitosa katika kilimo biashara. Anaangazia ufugaji wa mifugo mbalimbali na ukuzi wa mimea kadha wa kadha.
Ile kitu mimi naweza advise wakulima ni kuwa waonyeshe watoto wao waache kwenda kutafuta kazi, bali waonyeshe kurudi kwa mashamba, wapate kazi hapa na pesa. Juu pesa mingi iko kwa ukulima. Kwa hapa kwa ukulima hakuna pesa huwezi pata. Unaweza jihesabia kila mwezi hapa unaweza pata 500 to 1 million every month ukijipaga vizuri.
Usikose kujiunga nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.